Eh, a whole Thursday. Who are you and who are your friends? Who is that having a hangover on a whole Thursday? Alright. Alright, let's go to programming. So what's the purpose of programming? Number one, can you guys see my screen well? Or I need to zoom? Ah, good. Perfect. Msembi, mimi nakunywanga chai ya maziwa. Thank you, Samuel. Samuel, you see me after class. Tafadhali. Asante, and for thanks at least today you're here early in the morning. So, yes, we've said that programming is to write a set of code that instructs the computer on what to do. And why is it important? So, one of the things is that um, it allows us for automation that removes the human interaction from a system, equipment, or process. Let me just do this. Or process. And we can use scripts to automate labor. You guys will remember you wrote a bash script to install Apache, enable Apache. We had a web server, right? We had our website hosted on our Apache server, and we were able to see our website on the cloud. Do you guys remember on the internet? You remember? And what we were doing was automation. Uh, kind of feel like these notes were kind of rushed, but all right, because it's the syllabus, I can not do much. Oh, good. And as I told you guys, I'm going to try and explain most of these things using my personal notes so that we go a bit faster. As you can see, these are 67 pages. They are like double of what we get every day. So, automation refers to any technology that reduces or removes human interaction from a system, equipment, or a process. It's often implemented through scripts or tools that streamline repetitive or labor intensive tasks. Well, what are the key considerations when you're automating? Number one, define the purpose. Why is automation needed? Number two, define the scope. So, how much automation is necessary for us to meet our objective? Number three, identify the suitable process. So, focus on the repetitive tasks that are time consuming and that are role based. And then also balance automation levels. Do not over automate, do not under automate, just the right amount of time, a right amount of automation that is important. Now, um, let's go to programming languages. And a programming language is a formal language used to communicate instructions to computers, and they instruct the computer to tell it what to do. Perform these tasks, perform this calculation, analyze this text, read these files, display an image on the screen. Yeah, and a software is created by writing a set of instructions that the computer can understand and execute. And this process involves number one, writing the code in a text file. That is, you can use say Sublime Text. I do not know if you people know Sublime Text. Do you know back in the day, back in the day, yeah, before I had gray hair, we were writing code on Sublime Text, and yo, we were the it. If you had Sublime Text, man, You are the it. You could even go to dark mode, right? You can use VS Code. You can use Aish. Yeah, exactly. Usembi, Nona. Usembi, how old are you? Are we age mates? You guys, yes. It's good that I've seen some of you know Sublime Text. I'm happy. I'm happy for that. At least, eh? Oh, nice, Basil. Very nice. Very nice. Yes, Mozambique can see my gray hair. Eh, what was Stack Overflow? Before we had ChatGPT, we had Stack Overflow, which answered most of our questions. Guys, we suffered. We read books that was the size of a child's head. And then another thing, software is written using a computer language. Tell me a computer language that you know. I've seen older people here. Tell me unmute and tell me the programming languages that you use. Samuel, Go, Basil, Python, R, Deluge, Eish, Rage, C, Basil, you're the awewe, ninakuonea 18. You can code low language, very nice. C++, yes, Samuel. Use a lot of C++ in IoT. Python, C, uh-huh, talk to me. Java, yeah, Java is pretty good. Kotlin, but we're mobile development. You're not even saying Flutter. Eh? I'm happy no one said HTML, right? Dart. Perfect. Perfect. Right. So we write our code somewhere, and this code has to be in a particular language. MATLAB, all right. This one is for people who do, is MATLAB for those people who do a lot of machine learning or something, or for data? All right. I am sorry, I do not know anything in data. All right, so let's see. All right, Habakkuk, what do you use it for? Programming languages for data. All right, interesting. You people, you should tell me why you love data. I do not understand anything in data. So, programming language elements, number one, just like human languages, programming languages have punctuations. I am so for real. Programming languages have punctuations, they have grammar and syntax, and they also have vocabularies, all right? Now, let's learn something about an IDE. So, guys, what IDE do you guys use? An IDE is an integrated development environment. And all right, VS Code, Casa, VS Code, SPSS. All right, PyCharm, VS Code, RStudio, Google Colab. RStudio na Google Colab, I believe ni za watu wa data. All right, so an ID, IntelliJ, VS Code, Goland. Very nice. Perfect. So an IDE is a software application that provides you with comprehensive tools for writing, testing, and debugging your code all in one place. All right. And For you can use an IDE for syntax checking, so it highlights for you incorrect syntax based on the rules of the programming language that you're using. And you can use it for spelling grammar suggestions. It flags misspelled words and unclear phrases. And intelligent suggestions, it offers auto completion, quick fixes, and code recommendations. Perfect. Guys, how many of you know code blocks? Right, right. Good old days. And NetBeans, if I'm not wrong. Of course, yes, I do, Musembe. Nowadays, I definitely have to. I mean, you cannot give me a genius with all who can check the whole internet in a second and I don't use it. I'll definitely use it perfectly well. Oh, really? You used NetBeans and code blocks in uni? I can remember we were using them in high school back then, and they were not interesting, especially when learning Java. So, guys, let's learn something about compilers and interpreters. So, compilers and interpreters are used to convert high level programming languages like Python, Java, or C into low level code that a computer can understand. And what they do is they translate your human readable code into machine executable instructions. For example, in Python, you write print hello world. A computer cannot understand print hello world. That's why it has to interpret your language, all right? Now, what's the difference between a compiler and an interpreter? Number one, a compiler will translate the entire code before executing it. But for an interpreter, it will translate a code line by line during execution. Okay? So compilers, they they translate your code before execution, your entire code. So for a compiler, it's faster because the speed of execution is faster because the whole code has already been translated. But now, when it comes to interpreters, because they're translating your code line by line during execution, execution becomes slower. And for execution, you see, it's translating your code as it's executing it. You're going to detect errors as your code is running. But for compilers, you're going to detect syntax error before running your code, right? And you can change it. The output of a compiler is that it generates a separate executable file, but for interpreters, they do not produce an executable file. So those of you who did a lot of C, Java, you remember you had to compile your code, right? When you finish writing your code and then you click compile and then now it can run, and then as it's running you're giving different, for example, I remember when I was writing code in C, you first write your code and then you compile it and then you change your code to an executable file and then you can run it, right? But now for something like Python, you just write your code and it's interpreted and run automatically. A good example of programming languages that use interpreters are Python, JavaScript, and Ruby. All right. Unyo kwa unyo. We've gone through that. Run, debug, and correct software. Okay. Writing software is an iterative process where you rarely get everything perfectly correct on the first try. So the development cycle is you run your code. So you've written your code right. You run your code, execute your code regularly by catching issues early. Frequent testing helps isolate bugs before they compound. and then you can debug your code using debug tools or print statements. So in the afternoon, we're going to check on a debugging tool by Python, and we're going to learn a little bit about debugging so that even from tomorrow when you start coding, you're going to know how to debug your code, okay? So you use debugging tools or print statements to identify the exact line of or the exact line that's causing an error or the logic causing an issue, and then you fix the problem. So you correct faulty logic, syntax, or data handling, and then you continue building, right? And also in the afternoon, we're going to learn something super interesting. We're going to do an introduction to DevOps. We're going to learn how to continuously integrate, continuously develop, or deploy. So very nice, Musembi. Yeah, it gets better with time. So software is iterative where you write a little, test a little, fix what doesn't work, test it, write a little more, and then you test it. All right, let's go to data types. Guys, what data types do you know and what are they for? String, all right. Integer, uh-huh. Boolean, yes. Mm-hmm. Gideon Boolean. No one is saying float long, especially for you guys who do also databases and a lot of querying. So, guys, let's learn data types. All right. And I think what I'll do, guys, is I'm going to compile for you my personal notes for today, and then I'm going to add it on the recording. Is that good? Especially for people who are new to programming. You can just use this for your revision, or if you're going for an interview and you need a short reminder, I can send you these. They're not as comprehensive as I write, but they'll get you going. All right. So a data type is a classification that tells a computer what kind of a value is being stored and how to interpret that value. For example, if we look here, we have a number 45. So whole numbers like 1, 2, 3, 520, 35, those are integers, okay? These are like your whole numbers that you have 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 9, 8, 7, 15, 45, 30, 80. These are integers. And then we can have a long data type is one that contains a larger whole number, often used in languages like Java. So a number like this one could be a long. And then we have a float. So a float is any number with a decimal point. Okay. So for example, like 1.2, 1.5, 7.8, 3.4, 3.14. These are floats. And then we have Boolean. Boolean are true or false. All right. These are true or false values. For example, here, like the example I was to use, where, all right, for example, are you male? Yes or no? So Mark would answer yes, I'd answer no. All right. Are you hungry? Yes or no, I'm not. Um, all right. And then you have a string, right? A string, these are text enclosed in quotes. And you can get that even numbers that you enclose in quotation marks will be a string. For example, my name is Jingaro. Open quotation. My name is Jingaro. I am years old. close quotations, that's a string, right? So a string is the content that you enclose in quotation marks. Boolean, true or false. Float, they have decimal points. Long, these are very large whole numbers. Integers, these are your normal whole numbers without decimal points. Now, why is it important to tag your data types? Well, it's important so that a data type is the classification of value that tells a computer how to interpret that value. All right. And in memory, everything is zeros and ones. Do you guys remember when you learned how to convert decimals into binary? All right. Because binary system is the only way a computer can understand. It's the only language that a computer can understand. So computer stores their data in binary format, and data types help the computer to encode a value into the binary it's storing into a binary when it's storing, and also to decode the binary back into usable value when it is retrieving it to you. For example, you can find them in memory, it's stored as this, but when retrieving it, when decoding it, you're given this. Or you give a computer this and it stores it as this binary, right? So it's important to tag your data types. For example, tagging means that, say we say int, okay, says we say int maybe y or int x or int num, something of the sort. We're going to see it just in the next slide. The reason why we are telling our computer we are tagging this number with this type of data type is so that when it is storing it, it is encoded into the memory. It knows what type, what am I storing, how should I store it, and when it gives back to you, it's decoding it to you perfectly. It's not giving you the wrong information. All right, we have a question over here. So, who can tell me the first, the first instruction? What data type is this for the Martian? It's a string. Perfect, Clinton. Perfect, Mosimbe. Now, what is 1.618? Very nice. It's a float. Ah, good, good girls. I've seen the ladies are up. Yes, it's a float. What is number three? Good. Perfect. It's a long. Yes. What is number four? Good, good. Ah, nice. It's a boolean. What is number five? Very nice. It's a string. Why? It's enclosed in quotation marks. Amazing. So let's go to variables. So a variable is an identifier in your code that represents a value stored in memory. So it acts like a label for a value. The variable name helps humans understand what is the value, what does the value represent. For those who are in LX, those who are in ALEX in around 2023, 2024, when we had the long course of software engineering, and we had Kimber, the white lion, that would go and detect people who are copying code. Yeah, Kimber. And if you got caught, you had plagiarized someone's code, and the person's code that was being plagiarized was from Bright Gameli, by the way. So what Kimber was checking is majorly the variables that people were using, right? So you'd get maybe Bright had used int x equals to 5, int y equals to 8, And now everyone will go and copy int 5 equals to this, int x equals to this, int y equals to this. And the software, Kimba is a software, right? The software will go and check these variables, are they the same as this person's or this person's or this person's? And if yes, you had plagiarized, right? So the variables are like, imagine this is variable name will help you understand what this is for. For example, uh, I'll say for say you like, okay, let me just use this. We can have a variable like is coda, and then the value will be true or false. So if it's true, we'll know that this person is a coder for real. He's a programmer. Days on job, so it will calculate the value for you. If you've been on the job for 30 days, you're going to be paid your 30 days worth of work. So variable names, they help you identify the value being stored. Okay, it's like a label for a value. For example, you can say is soda, and the value could be Fanta. um if it's okay, something like that. Let's go down here and see an example. All right, so Python. So there's a type of a Python code is coda equals true or false. Days on the job. So Visual Basic. How many of you know Visual Basic? Eh? Let me see my age mates. How many of you know Visual Basic? Back in high school. I know, yes. It's very outdated. But apparently, VB.NET is very still alive. It's still alive very much because people who create desktop applications for Microsoft for Windows, they use VB.NET. There's a new programming language I'm seeing here. Days on job. Uh, one. And who know Pascal? I know most of us here do not have not interacted with Pascal. How many of us know Pascal? So Pascal, Pascal is a very old programming language. Very old. Pascal. Yes, it's you've heard of it. Yes, actually most of us here have not interacted with Pascal. It was used back when Kenya was starting to have computers. So assigning data type to a variable. So in some programming languages, you must explicitly declare the data type when creating a variable. This helps the computer understand how to store and interpret the value. For example, we can have int days on jobs equals to 1. So this is going to tell the computer we are storing an integer, the variable is the days on the job, and the value is 1. So it declares the an integer variable that is going to be stored. Or in Java, we can have boolean is coda equals true or false. Okay, so we can assign the data types to a variable. So example, what we mean with that is, for example, here we are declaring that we are using an int. Int is for integer. Java is for Boolean. You'd get some saying bool. They just use the first four bool. And here you're telling the computer what am I doing? Number one, telling the computer I have a value, all right, or I need to store a value, and I have a variable for this value. So this variable is going to tell me what the value is for. But then this variable is going to store a value for this data type. I'm going to store a value for an integer. I'm going to store a value for a string. I'm going to store a value for a float. I'm going to store a value for a long. All right. So you can assign a data type to a variable. And all this, we're going to practice it tomorrow. And when our teacher Patrick comes, but the I believe, let me check the labs that you have for today. If you're going to have something on the data types, variables. Yes, yes, yes. So today there are a few labs. So the first one that you're going to do is for Hello World. Then we're going to have for numerical data types, so the ints, the floats, and all, strings, list, tuple, dictionary, categorize values, composite data types, conditionals, loops, and to create a Git repo. Those are the labs that you have. You have 9 labs. And then let me see if debugging. Yeah, debugging has 2 labs, 11, 12. And DevOps does not have a lab. Today we have around 14 labs. So on your labs, you're going to actually get to understand these data types and the variables, all right? If we finish earlier, like by around 11, I think we can do a few. All right. Assigning data types to variables. Let's continue. So some programming languages infer the data type automatically based on the value you assign it. This means that you do not really need to explicitly declare the data type. The compiler or interpreter will figure it out for itself. Very nice. A good example is like Python, Swift, and TypeScript. And you can see here, let me just leave this. Awesome. There. So a good example is like Python. Python, you're going to write count equals 10. And Python, the interpreter itself, Python interpreter is going to know the value that you give. It's going to check, it's going to read for itself and decide for itself the data type that you actually are using based on your value. For example, you have a variable count and you said let count be 10. Okay. Now, the interpreter is going to read for itself and know 10 is an integer. You do not need to say int count, okay, or var variable days on job equals to 1, or say like one int variable days on jobs equals to 1. No, you do not need to explicitly say I'm storing an integer. the interpreter for Swift is going to say the variable days on job is going to have a value, and the value is 1. This 1 is an integer, or in TypeScript, true. The interpreter is going to say true or false, yes or no, and it's going to know that it is a boolean. So you're going to say let is coda be true, and it's going to say, because you've said your value for your variable is true, it's going to know for itself that this is a boolean. um so the best thing about such programming languages, number one, is that it reduces the amount of coding that you have to write, and it has cleaner syntax. So you do not see int count or var or say bool let coda. No, you're not like assigning the data types into the variables. So your syntax is a little bit cleaner, and you're going to use less code, and it still maintains the safety, it's type safety, so the data type safety, especially in TypeScript and Swift. Now, it's good to be a bit cautious because, well, computer mistakes can happen, but we hope for the best. If a mistake happens, you'll just correct it. It's okay. Let's learn something about ASCII. Let me see before I go to ASCII. Data types. All right. So we have this table right here. Let me look for it. Let me look for an ASCII. So let's learn something small about ASCII because we have to. So ASCII, it means its full name is American Standard Code for Information Interchange, and ASCII is a character encoding standard that assigns a unique numerical value to letters, numbers, punctuations, and controls, and uh, it controls characters to enable computer to exchange text data. And what ASCII does is, let me just open an ASCII table here. What ASCII does is you represent, for example, this is a whole sentence. So what it means, when you're converting text into numbers, ASCII helps you. It gives, okay, ASCII is a character encoding that helps you to convert text into numbers or vice versa, numbers into text. For example, if you check here, we have a few numbers, right? You can see 72, 97, 118, 101, all these, okay? So what it does, you can convert, say, letter A into a certain number, letter B into a certain number, comma into a certain number, space into a certain number. For example, in our case, space is in number 32, right? So you know that this is a word, it's a word, space, a word, space, a word, space, a word, space, a word, right? So let me open this ASCII table and share this tab instead and see. For example, we have, let me see. Uh-huh. So with this ASCII table, now we can see number 32, it stands for space. 33 is an exclamation mark. 34 is for quotation marks. 35 is a number sign, like this number. A dollar sign is 36, all the way to the numbers from 0 to 9. They have it on the ASCII table, it has its representation. And then we can come to the colon, semicolon, the greater than and equals to, and all those. And then we have uppercase letters and all the way to Z. We have the brackets, backslash, brackets, all that. And then we have the lower cases, right? So using this table right here, let me copy it for you here. Hi, Musembi, you're too fast. Let me copy for you this ASCII table and let me share this screen. You tell me, what does it represent? So go to the ASCII table, go to the ASCII table, go to the ASCII table and tell me what's the message here. So if you see number 72, go check and see number 72, look for number 72. I can see it, it's uppercase H. And then go to number 97 on the ASCII table, number 97, it's a lowercase a. I. You write for me what the sentence is saying all the way. Where there's a 32, it's a space. I've given you a hint. Somebody decode for me using the ASCII. So imagine if I needed to write a letter. Who wants me to write for him or her a letter? Very nice, Justin. Yes, have you seen my khakis? Very nice. Yes, that's the answer. So if I was to write, my lord, somebody should ban bananas from existence. Sawa tu Justin. Wewe kwanza venye unangojeanga nikosee mahali wewe. Yaani mnangojeanga hivi. Eh? Hey. What? It's all right. You know, we cannot deny where we are coming from. If the tongue is heavy, the tongue is heavy. Justin aufai ukule ndizi. Habakkuk, I see you. You must laugh. Musembi, I see what you did. Yes, but there, a lot of, I understand. I understand what you say by ananas. Anyway, so if I was to write for you, Habakkuk, wewe, if I was to write for you a letter and I wrote for you this, Musembi, you're looking for your laugh meat. You'll be shocked. Hi, that's a nice one. So, if I wanted to write for you a letter and I wrote this, you should be able to now decode, right? You should now be able to decode and see 72 is capital H, 97 is small h, da 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 da, da all the way to have you seen my car keys? And I wonder, the ladies, did you get this? Those who are so quiet. You know, in this class, the ladies are quiet, and it is so uncommon because in most classes you'd find that the ladies are more talkative. But now this class imeni ni wapole sana, si ndio? Basi it's quite uncommon for the ladies to be this quiet. Ladies, when you go to the ASCII table, so we are learning how to decode the ASCII values. When you go to the ASCII table that I posted on the chat, and someone writes for you this letter, these numbers, you should be able to decode. For example, let me give you another example, okay? Oh, it's okay, Sandra. It's okay. I'm sorry. It's okay. Men, stop being 1 minute, man. Go slowly, slowly. Mm. You watu mnapenda kucheka. You love laughing, eh? Let me see something I can type here. Let me give you another one. The ladies, uh, you men, you go slowly, slowly. What is what? Let me say something funny I can write. Mm, all right, let me give you this one. All right, guys, let me give you this one and then you decode it for me, okay? There. Hapana, me give me the answer. Mwache kukasirika. Stop kasirika faster faster. Ah, all right. All right. So, mnaanza kukasirika na hata sijaanza kuisema kitu. Mnakasirika hata mjanipea answer. Chelsea, hebu si ule ulishtuliwa na Musembi. All right, all right. It's good to have hopes. I'm going to give one to the ladies, all right? Men, do not attempt this one, all right? All right, ladies. Fan, Ivy, Sandra, Chelsea, Belinda, Befalin, Amy, Angela, Priscilla, Mary, Juliet, all my ladies. Decode this for me. Musembe, go get out. Karibu, I told you to get out of this class. Toka kwa chat. Musembi, please, toka kwa chat. Musembi, a special announcement. Toka kwa chat. Why are you decoding for the ladies? Ladies, this is yours. My beautiful ladies, this is yours. Ladies, come to my aid. This gentleman will finish me. Salem, what are you doing decoding for the ladies? And Justin, yes, it works in the real life. It works. Eh, Sandra, are you decoding that? It's like ladies today are asleep. Very nice, Abby. Hearty claps for you. Let the gentleman wanyongwe na wivu. You should be nice. Let the ladies keep sparkling. Mhm. So now at least you've learned how to decode. It was a good break over there. All right, so let's learn a little bit about composite data types. Let me see. Mhm. Awesome. Simbi, now you've learned something new. Now hatutapumua. Breathing will be for the weak, eh? So now let's learn about composite data types. So until now, you've used primitive data types. These are data types built into coding language with no modification. These are just the basic data types. For example, the int, the float, the char, the boolean, the string, the long. Now we have composite data types. Composite data types, they combine multiple data types into a single unit. All right. A data type that contains multiple values or other data types you into a single unit. A good example is before that, a composite data type is made of combining primitive or other composite data types. For example, in our case here, we can we can have a good example is like in the movie. In this movie, in each movie could be described with a name. So, for example, give me a name of a movie. Say like Scorpion. say a name and year, year of release. How many of you guys watched Scorpion? And a flag to indicate whether you've seen it or not. So like a boolean, right? And these three can create for you a composite data type, all right? And so this is just like the example we had. So for example, you can have name, creation type or year, extension. For example, like media. For example, like if you have a document, so name of the document, creation time when it was created, extension, say maybe a JPG, .docs. Is it read only? Is read only? Yes or no? Length, maybe 757 characters or something. So this is another example of a data type. We have a few here, but an example could be, let's go to this one, age, culture, description, gender, name, supported out. What could this one be for? What could this example be for? We have the age, you want to know the age, the culture, the description, the gender, the name, supported audio formats. Okay, we can have, for example, a composite a composite data type saying, say maybe person equals to, say like name equals to name, colon, like joy, age. Let me have this for you, an international student. All right, how about audio formats? All right, oh, so that we know if we maybe need to transcribe it for them. We can have an example of this that I'm posting on the chat. We can have a composite data type. Let me just copy this again and put appropriate spaces. So right here, we can have a composite data type for person, and I've used my information. So for example, this composite data type of person, it includes the name, um, and a name, for example, my name, Joy. Age, I am 90 years old. As you can see, this is an integer, name is a string, and skills. I have a skill in talking, in laughing, and in eating. All right. So we can have a combination of several data types. All right. And that's what we call a composite data type. All right. For example, like here we can have for um, like this one, I think it's Habakkuk was told us for an international student. So we can maybe have a name for the student. Justin. Yes, preaching. Kindly add preaching on my skills. So maybe we can have a name. Shauri yenu. We can, yes, you see, I'm 90 years old. I have gray hair. So we can have a data type for the name, and name is say Habakkuk, age is say 12, culture say Kenyan, gender, are you male or female, or you prefer not to say Habakkuk? Description, he preferred not to say his gender. Oh, you're male, all right. So gender, male. Description, are you tall or short? And supported audio formats. Maybe you'd prefer to get your audio formats at maybe using MP4 to get the videos and audio. So a composite data types includes several either primitive data types. So for example, the int, the string, or even you can create your own personal composite data types. This is particularly important, especially for those who create applications. I'm sure you've done that a lot of times. A good example we have is this for file metadata. So we can get the name, we can get the date and time for creation, we can get the extension, which will be maybe in a string. We can get Boolean, is it read only? We can get the length, maybe could be long. So for a file metadata type, file metadata information, you can get maybe, for example, let's imagine it's this. I don't know why they called this document prog intro, but it's okay. So maybe we can get the name for this. If you're getting a file metadata for this document that I'm in, we can have, say, for the name, it's asking for the file name. So we are going to write prog intro and then date time. So when was it created? Creation time. We can say maybe 6th November 2025 and time around 10:24 a.m. Extension, it's a .pdf. Why are these people reading my document? Because even the time is almost ish. All right. And we can get, is it read only? So false. Yes, because you cannot edit, right? So true. And the length, maybe we can have it as that number in bytes or maybe kilobytes. So this is how you get to create your own composite data types. Let's go straight ahead to functions. All right. Let's learn a few things about functions. So a function is something that will do something useful. They are like mini machines in your code that perform a certain task when called. I know you guys have created a few functions for yourself, right? Yes, 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 yes. So functions, they do something useful and they can return a value to be stored as a variable. So you can call a function and tell this function, maybe function get name. When you call function get name, you can write a code to say to ask you to input your first name and last name. When you input your first name and last name, your data can be stored, all right? Your value can be stored and can be used for other input values. For example, if I create a function of get name and I create a code to ask you for your first name and last name. So, and you go to my program and you enter your first name. Say, for example, you enter Nicodemus Moholo. All right. Now we can use your input as maybe we can use your input as an output for something else. So we can say, welcome to Land Africa at maybe Nicodemus Moholo. All right. And then you can ask you, are you a developer? Are you a programmer? And then you're going to say maybe yes or no. So you call a function to give you, when you call a function, it will do something useful for you. We're going to learn all this in the next few slides. For example, a function can do something useful. Here, they used an example of a function to clear screen. May use the function to get name. So get name and then my brackets. So anytime I call my function get name, it will it will ask you for your name, all right, for your first name and last name. So uh, functions can return values, and to return a value after the function has done its job, it can give you back the results. For example, we can say pi equals to calculate pi, or get name. So name equals to first name and last name, or get total. Get total is maybe sum 1 plus sum 2, or something of the sort. So it can return values to you. For example, if you call the function for pi, it will give you 3.14, right? And when you call a function, it can accept your values as input. Remember, I told you maybe we can try with an example of get name, and I call a function to get your first name and your last name. So when it gives me your, for example, name is maybe, give me your name, for example, Nicodemus Moholo, I can say print name, first name, print, and then comma, second name. What it will do, it will print for me. Maybe I'll say print, hello, welcome to Landly Africa, and then first name and last name, Aki Musembi. First name and last name. So it will show me, hello, welcome to Landly Africa, Nicodemus Moholo. I'm going to give you a whole example with a function so that you get to understand. And functions can return value based on the inputs. For example, I can say area, calculate area, and I give it two numbers, maybe 2 and 3. When I go to call area, I'll be given, what is 2 times 3? 6, right? So maybe I'll be given area as 6. It's going to calculate for me the area of maybe my rectangle or something. And it can accept values as input. So for example, you can say add, for example, show value, and then for area. So here we had calculated my area 6. Maybe show value, my area would be 6. Or add, maybe here I can have add, and then I'd have two numbers, maybe 2 and 3. 2 and 3, will be my inputs. So my function can accept this function is called show value, and here it's going to show my value for the area. I can have my two numbers as 2 and 3, and it's going to show me the value of my area as 6 maybe. Let's just go ahead and have a whole example of this. Yeah, we can also have composite data types. Let me just get an example. It's quite easier to, it's not showing me an example. Let me just have one example here on the chart and I can use it to explain. Yes, Musembe, very nice. Let me just give you this with a whole explanation on functions. Let me just copy it somewhere. I'm sorry if you're going to hear some babies talking. Well, it's during the day and kids from my place love playing. Thank you, Salome. Kids are a blessing. But I know you young people, you don't love kids. I should teach them coding. These are very young kids. They cannot even concentrate for an hour. Ebu ambie Musimbi. Very nice question. Very nice question. I agree. Eh, my lord. The chats are firing up. Sembi, you've touched a wrong corner with the guys. Hadi wamesema they are still kids. Jeez. Adults pretend to love each other. I don't think so. Look at the weekends. People are going on dates. Copying this on the chat is boring. You see Musembi, kwa nini unakataliwa na Sandra na anakukataa na nguvu yako yote? He, sasa hata let me just share this document. Hey, the way men here are saying, Salem, you do not see the value of going on dates. Is this why you're still single? Salem, because the way you people are showing me things here, me, I'm even surprised. Huh? Haya, sina maneno, sina msemi, sina usemi, sina. Maybe I'll just keep quiet. Let me just come here, do my work. You people have showed me things. All right, Musembi. Kabisa fine. Kila mtu tu akae kwao. You people, and then you there, you want someone to birth for you an entire generation. Who? Hata Ridge is wondering. Eh, Salem. It's a waste of time and money. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Frank, kindly you people, you mnashtua Frank. Frank, Ghanaians and West Africans are very romantic people. Come to Kenya. Hata I thought Kikuyus are worse until I met Salem and Benson Kipkoril and Musembi. Thank you, Naboth. I, I, well, eh, I, even my theology cannot intervene. I cannot use my entire energy to bring for people who don't believe in it. What do you mean? Hi, I am totally surprised by the men in this class. Anyway, I'd rather be thinned by functions. Oh, they're very broke. All right, all right. Yes, they're broke. Kugongewa ni lazima na sio mayai na sio mlango. Hata nyinyi mali mko watching live from Haiti. Nyinyi ndio wa kugongeana gongeana hapo. Anyway, eh, sawa. Imagine hata Clinton Shitani anaketi chini angalia hawa wanaume. Eh? Eish, Amy. Everybody clap for Amy. To, to Salem should understand functions of a date before understanding functions in Python. Makofi kwa Gideon and Amy. Makofi. Makofi kwa Gideon and Amy. Very nice. Mark. Ai wewe Mark. Mimi ni wa miaka 90 na niko na grey hair. I do not jishughulisha with mambo na mapenzi. Eh, my lord. Eh, about so many functions. Maybe I'd rather be thinned by functions in programming languages. So we have an example of a function here. Forgive me, I've just copy pasted this. Sahi ndio unashtuka. All right, so this function, it accepts the user inputs and return a composite data type. For example, create user profile, and it will ask you for your name, your age, and email. So it's going to return your name. So for example, what is your name? Salem Lumumba. Age, what's your age, Salem? Would you be willing then to tell us what's your age? 83. Okay, Salem is 83. Email, salemlumumba at salemlumumba.com. Is active? True. So now this one is going to ask you for your name, age, and email, and it's going to. Ay, Elphas, my lord. Holy Spirit, who prayed for us? It's Musembi who prayed for us. No wonder. Where Musembi, do not pray for us again. Sandra, you see, you're laughing here and you're the one who refused to play for us. Kai, my lord. Musembi, do not pray for us. Can we get someone else to pray for us? At least we salvage the day. We cannot continue like this, my lord. Hey. All right. So now this one, this function, it will ask you for your name, your age, and email. And you see, guys, a function comes with a function name, like this variable. Yes, we need to sanitize. Alkam na maji ya baraka. What do they call it? Eh, na both I'm telling you. Hey, we need maji ya baraka. My lord. So we have this variable for creating user profile, and we need the age, the name, and the email, and it's going to return for us a profile. Another function, it will this is a second function. It accepts composite data types and returns values. And guys, in programming, when you are writing comments, I agree, Justin, asiwahi kabisa. Kwanza hata we'll tell Esther and Mwalimu Patrick, Musembi should not pray for us again. Not now until the end of not now until the end of our classes. Eh. So when we're writing comments, we write them using the double slash, right? So this function is for get user greetings. So we take in the user, and so here we have a user, all right? We take in the user and we return hello, user.name, welcome back. For example, if my user is Salem Lomomba, hello, Salem Lomomba, welcome back to class. All right. We can have another function here that now returns an array that accepts an array of composite data types and returns us one. So we have a function to find user by email, and it checks the user arrays and target emails. So for let users of user array, so here this function is for finding users by email. So number one, we're going to get users array, so all the users that we have, and we're going to check their user email. If user email is equals to, maybe for example, salemlumumba.salemlumumba.com, salemlumumba at salemlumumba.com, then it's going to return to us Salem Lumumba as our user. And so these are quite other examples of our functions. Let's say, and let's use uh, using the functions. So let user one, so create user profile, Joy. I am not 30, I said I'm 90. Joy at example.com, and let instead of Alex here we had Habakkuk. Si ni example na Salem ndio mmesema kona miaka 83. People, we are having examples. Salem is not 28. Someone said he's 83. So Salem, ah, wacheni kucheka. Sijamwaga mtama yoyote. All right. So Gideon, wewe mwenye ninafikiria ati wewe ndio prophet wetu, unafaa unitetee, uko hapo ukikanyaga shingo. Sawa sawa, ninawaonea 18. I'm seeing for you. Thank you, Musembi. All right, so um, using the functions, so we can say let user one equals to, we create a user profile for Joy who's 90. So we have her name, her age, and her email. We are creating user profile two as well, and user two, and you can store this as arrays. So let all users, user one and user two, and you can create a greetings for them. So imagine you people are so quiet, you won't receive salamu. Eh? Let greeting equals to get user greetings. So user greetings for one, for let me just say for user two, Salem, and my output will be, all right. So let greeting equals to get user greetings. So for my user two, who is Salem, and then who can remember our console.log greetings? Yes, it's JavaScript, and it's going to output hello Salem, welcome back. All right. All right, so I think we've seen enough of functions. Let's just go ahead. You're going to practice this tomorrow. I'm just doing a short introduction. I do not want to overstep my place for the day. All right, so people, you'll be reminding me, Musembi should not pray. Me, I use quite a few. I use several, depends with the use case. I can use C, C++. Daniel, I use C, C++. I love C++ a lot because of IoT. I have used Django, PHP Laravel. I have done a lot of Node.js. Depends. Vue as well. It depends with whatever I want to do. I also have built a few mobile apps using Flutter. Yes. Mhm. But let's concentrate with our class. But nowadays I'm old. I do not do programming. The moment I got to my 90 years old, I left programming. All right. Ah, nimesema niko 90. Hey, na both. Ulijulia wapi my real age? Sema nione kama unajua. So let's learn a little bit of collections. Hmm? There's someone crying. All right, so collections are powerful structures that group multiple values into single variables, making data management and manipulation. Guys, give me a second. I hear someone crying, and I am a caring. All right, I am back. You people, have you been busy doing mathematics on my life? I, hapana, hapana, hapana. No, 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 no. This is not okay. Eh, eh. Musembi. Elfas. Kwenda huko. Eh. tafadhali msifanye hesabu ya maisha yangu. Do not, msifanye hesabu ya minus kwa maisha yangu ama addition, whichever hesabu is that mnafanya. Ninatoka tu kidogo, ninapata watoto wakifanya kazi na my learners wakifanya kazi ya kufanya hesabu ya maisha yangu. Even me, I'm going to give you ears. Mna apply deciphering. You're becoming too smart for me. I no way. Musembi hadi ume-add 5 years za nursery. Eh. I will ask for data protection. Nani anajua mtu Communications Authority? I can be rich with you people. All right. So we said a collection is a powerful structure that groups multiple values into a single variable, making data management and manipulation more efficient. Now, let's see. In collections, so you're going to practice this tomorrow. I'm just going to do a simple introduction, and then you're going to practice this on your labs and tomorrow with Victor. So we can have arrays. These are some of the things that you're going to learn, especially because you are doing Python. So an array is a fixed size, ordered collection of elements of the same type. For example, this table right here, it shows a basic array, or array is kind of, I like thinking of arrays like an arrangement, all right? Like arrangement, how is data being arranged from 0 to n numbers. So this table, it shows a basic array of ages. So you can see my age here being represented very well. So 87 will take position 0, 10 will take position 1, and arrays are actually it's the way you have ordered your number, and the first slot is always a 0 in every computer language. You know, guys, in computing we do not start from 1, we start from 0. All right, now this data is being organized from 0 to n standing for the last digit of numbers. All right, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the way this data has been arranged. Okay, so an array is a fixed size of ordered collection of elements. It's for majorly arranging your data. And we can go to list. A list is an ordered collection, can be array based, e.g., array list or linked list. I know those from software engineering, we have trauma of linked lists, but it is all right. So a Python list is an ordered collection of items. Each items can be from different data types, and items can be accessed using an index. Items can have duplicate values. For example, we can have John, a value of John on the index is index 0 all the way. And the difference between a list and an array, and a list can have different data types. We're going to see a Python list is ordered because each new list is added to the end of the list. So we're going to see an example of list in a short. Notes zimevuka hizo zingine. Anyway, let me just explain this. We can have vectors. So vectors are dynamic arrays that can grow or shrink in size, and they are often synchronized. A set is a collection of unordered items. For example, the way we can have our names here, just being unordered. That's a set of data. We can have a queue. A queue follows the first in, first out structure, and elements are added to the end. Huko mwisho kabisa at the last, if you bring in a new set of data, it will be added to the last part on the queue. And we have a DQ, a double-ended queue. This one has a head and a tail. So it allows for insertion either at the front or at the beginning or at the end. And even removal can also be either at the beginning or at the end. And then we have hashes or hash keys. So these are key value pairs stored using the hash function. They allow for fast access and retrieval of data. We learned something small on hashes a few days ago. And then we can also have dictionaries. Similar to hashes, they are key value mappings used in many languages. We are going to see this in the next few and even in our labs. I just want to pass by. I do not cross my line because by tomorrow we're going to go through all these. But I'm also going to maybe, let me see. What have you remembered? Um, we have said a list is an ordered collection that can hold items of different data types, including, for example, like here we can have integers, strings, boolean, integer, for example, like this. And also, we've said that items can have duplicate values. If we look at, if we look at, for example, at this list, we have seen that we can have duplicate values in a list. For example, in this example right here in our canvas, we have string of name John, integer, so this could be the age of 55, boolean, true, maybe is he male, maybe true, a string, maybe male, name, maybe this is next of kin or last name Carlos, integer 22, maybe he has 22 kids, and another string of male. So you see here we can have a duplicate value, we can have two duplicate values on the same list, all right? And in a list, you cannot have duplicate values. eh, Chelsea. Leonard, imagine at 11:03, you have remembered Jana you saw someone eating a pineapple with masala. In the middle of a list, have I seen a pineapple here or masala? What has jogged your memory? And yes, pineapple with masala is very sweet. It's very nice. Eh, Chelsea, let me get to page 15, then maybe we can have a break. Maombi za Daniel hazikufika. Let me see, where are we going? All right, let me just finish this. Sawa, let me just finish on my list and then we go. Chelsea, kama ni wewe umeomba break, imagine I have to give it to you. Eh. And then Leonard will tell me during break time. Leonard will tell me what has jogged your mind. All right. So we've seen that a list can contain duplicate numbers. It can contain different data types in one. And when a record is coming to be added, it's going to be added on the end of the list, at the end of the list. So let's just go Basi for our break at 11:07. We are almost actually. We are almost. When we come back, we are going to do something small on execution path of our program. We are going to start on page 48. I do not think tumebakisha vitu mingi. I'm just going to pass through this one, and then we're going to do something small on version control. How long is the break? Unfortunately, it will be please don't come at around 11:15 so that we finish up quickly. No, not 30 minutes. I want to release you guys early. Okay, right now we have to do something small on Cloud9 so that in the afternoon it won't be a bit hectic for us. So go for your breaks and then you come back at Basi 11:20. We meet here at 11:20. Is that okay? 12 minutes for your break. Is that okay? All right, 11:20. Chelsea, uniletee hiyo chai hata mimi I want. Okay, Samuel, kindly come back. Don't leave the meeting, please. I'll be taking attendance. Awesome. So it's a program. Awesome, awesome. So a program can run an execution, and when it is running an execution, it can read the steps that you've said for it to go through. For example, if you say um, if class is less than or equal to 35, print don't teach. The program is going to tell me, Joy, the class is has less than 35 students, so don't start teaching it. All right. I and then we can add an elif and say elif, um, if elif learners greater than or equal to maybe 36, uh, the program will tell me, Joy, the number is 36 and above, maybe 40, maybe, and then it's going to tell me, print, you can teach. So the program is going to tell me, Joy, the number is at 36, you can start training them. Else, it's going to check whether the number is at 36, and then it's going to tell me, or 40, because 40 is my ideal number, and it's going to tell me else print exactly right. So I love doing when we are at least above 40. All right, so these are the conditions that you have to meet. And I've seen someone up there in the comments who was saying that mapenzi ni conditional. mm? So if maybe Purity was to say, if Guy has more than 15 million into the account, print I, this is Amzai, run. Elif, if Guy has less than maybe 500,000, print too poor. Else, print perfect match for Purity. Right? So now Purity is going to know with when people are going to say they are. Oh, it was Amy. All right, all right. Let me rephrase my example. Thank you, Justin. Let me rephrase my example to Amy. Amy, how are you? So, Amy, if Amy says Amy is going to say, if Guy has maybe more than maybe 15 million, print these Amzai, these Ambabas, run. Elif, if Guy has less than maybe around 500,000 or 1 million, print too poor. Else, print perfect match for Amy. So Amy is going to know person who has maybe between 1 million to 15 million is around the perfect age for Amy, has the perfect amount of money. She knows her demands are going to be met. This is a perfect man for her. All right. So the program is going to print perfect match for Amy. Amy, how are you? Are you happy with my example? Amy,
Yes.
are you happy with my example? How much money do you want in a person?
Mm, hmm. You can add more.
Ai, 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 ai. Ai, Amy, sasa itabidi wewe tukupe mbabas. Hey, who in their rightful 20, 30-year-olds can even manage to get 15 million and above? Ai, 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 ai. Ai, boy child. See why you cannot meet
No,
this.
Babas.
Eh,
No, Babas. I don't do that shit. But
sasa
there are
this.
men who are financially stable. You know?
All right, all right. Um, I need to meet your friends, Amy. Maybe your friends are in the right class. Eh? Akifan, no, we won't give him it to a forex, hapana. Si mtu tu aambie tu Amy tu studio kweli. Yahoo Boys. Hapana, we won't give him Yakon. Kenyan Prince. Ama tumpe ule mse wa Masimba. Hmm? Huku ni kugumu, Justin. Poleni. Poleni. She needs to to restock her fridge after every 2 weeks, like a Cocoval. You must be able to meet those demands. Eh? All right. So let's see an example from Python. So uh, let me get someone to read this for me. Who wants to read this code for me? Anyone? Belinda Ayadmo. Ay, my lord. Hey, read for me this example. Are you in a position to read?
Okay. All right. So if name is equal to Joel, bonus is equals to 300, or else bonus is equals to salary multiplied by 0.1.
All right. So maybe we can say thank you, Rich. I appreciate. Makofi kwa Rich. So if the name is Juan and he has a bonus, maybe bonus is thank you for clapping for Rich. And maybe the bonus is at 300. That's okay. Proceed with uh, the computation. If it's not at 300, if the bonus is not 300, calculate for him a bonus of his salary and multiply it by 0.1. So if one maybe earns a salary of 5,000, 5,000, ay, kwani. If maybe one earns a salary of around maybe 50,000, what will his bonus be? Yes, 5,000 USD. Let's go with the 5,000. If his salary is 5,000, what will his bonus be? Somebody calculate for me. Bitcoin. Hi. 500. All right. So at least, all right. So, Joy, Abu Naboth, tell me, what are your thoughts? And me to tell me. And me to tell me your thoughts.
I'm not sure if you can hear me.
We can.
So I'm saying, I think we're supposed to see the condition is the name. So we're looking at the name. It's like, let's say the person is now my name now, but he'll have the else, which is the bonus instead of the 300. We're looking at the name, not the actual salary.
All right. Thank you for that. Okay, so one is only who. Oh, all right, all right. Thank you. So one is the only one who should get a bonus of 300, Bob. Everyone else should get their salary times 0.1. Is that right? All right, thank you. All right, so if the name is Juan, then the bonus will be 300. If the name is not Juan, then everyone else's salary will be multiplied by 0.1. Thank you so much for that. So let's say in this case, If name is maybe Naboth, and Naboth has a salary of 5,000, so what will be the salary for Naboth using this? So Naboth will get a bonus of 500, all right, and one will get a salary of a bonus of the stipulated 300. Thank you for that. Thank you for the correction. All right, let's go to switches. Let me see if I can get my notes. Just a second. All right, so let's go ahead. So let's learn a little bit about switches. So a switch statement is a control structure that is, we use it. Oh, congratulations, Daniel. Congratulations. Makofi kwa Daniel. Hearty claps. Very nice. Very nice, Daniel. Sasa tumejua siku ya graduation, wewe ndio unanunua soda. Hearty claps for you. Congratulations. Kumbe maombi yako ulikuwa unaiemia mahali. Now we have seen you. Sijui tukwambie uombange sasa kila siku. We are sitting on the fence on that. Congratulations. Makofi extra. Gail, mpigie makofi extra tafadhali. Very nice. Very nice. Perfect. These are the good news that we love hearing. Congratulations. So, what is a switch statement? Daniel, I hope umerukaruka kidogo. Jump we hear. Ruka ruka, it's okay to be happy. So a switch is a control structure used in programming to handle multiple possible values of a single variable. For example, in our case here, we have a variable of sign, all right? Now, what is happening is this switch statement of sign, it allows us to evaluate the variable of the sign that we're being given. For example, if the case is a stop, then we brake. If the case is a merge, then we accelerate. If a case is for exit, then we decelerate. If it's default, just as it is, then we ignore. So here, this the switch the switch statement helps us to execute different codes depending on which value we are given. For example, if the sign was for a merge, we could have accelerated, right? So for example, let's say we are driving, all right, and we have a switch statement for sign. What do I call it? A traffic. Uh, what do we call them? A traffic light sign, all right. And here we have a red sign, a yellow sign, maybe a red sign, a green sign for merge, and a yellow sign for exit. And we were driving. So when we were driving, we saw the traffic light go to yellow. What will we do? We are driving, all right, and we have a switch statement that tells us if you see a red, you stop, you press brake. If you see a green, you go, accelerate. If you see a yellow stroke amber, you decelerate, you wait. Else, if it's default, you continue driving. There's no traffic sign. What could be our answer if we saw a traffic light with the color amber or yellow? What would we do? We exit, we decelerate. All right. Yes. So in our case here, if we saw a yellow light, what we could have done, we could have decelerated. If we saw a, yes, if we saw a green light, what would we have done? If we saw a traffic light that had a green light, what would we have done? Accelerate. Yes. If we saw no traffic light, what would we have done? Ignored. Why is just one person responding to me? Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Elfas. Makofi kwenyu. Makofi. Exactly. So a switch statements give you certain conditions and what you're supposed to do if that condition is met. For example, if the best example I used here was a traffic light signal. If the light was red, what you could have been told is press brake and stop. If the traffic light is green, you're told to accelerate, move. If you're told, if the traffic light is yellow, you're told to decelerate. Either you stop or you start moving. If you didn't see anything, so leaving it at default, you ignore and continue with your journey. So a switch statement will give you certain conditions and what you should do when the conditions are met. All right. Let's go ahead to loops. And in loops, you are going to learn a few loops. What kind of loops do you know? Give me examples of loops that you know. A for loop, yes, Musembi. A while loop, yes. Perfect. Perfect. Is if a loop. If is for conditions. A while loop, yes. So a loop, thank you, good. So a loop will let you repeat an action for each time, maybe in a collection, something has happened. For example, a do while, yes, it's also a loop. Yes, self-fast. So a loop lets you repeat an action for each item, a collection. A do while. So it's almost like we have a we have a loop of maybe, say, let's maybe take an example. We have an example of maybe the class is rolling and we get a do while for do record while class is ongoing. So every time the while loop runs and it gets the class is ongoing, the do will record the session. If the while loop gets the class is stopped, is over, then the do will stop. So it works with both. So a loop lets you repeat an action for each time a collection, say like a list or an array, is for like a list and an array. It's a fundamental way to automate repetitive tasks. For example, in our example here, we have uh, a list of a list of names. So you have Aish. So you have names. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So we have names. So one name, let me just use Justin, Rich, and Chelsea. So for name, in names, new name, capitalize the name, all right, print new name. So what this loop is going to do, who can tell me what this loop is going to do? My names here are maybe Justin, Ridge, and Chelsea. And I have a for loop that says for name in names. So for each name here in my list of names, capitalize each name and then you print for me the new name. All right. So what? Very nice.
Excuse me, Joy.
Mm-hmm.
Could you please pardon on loops? Kuna mahali sijafanya kuelewa.
All right. It's okay. It's okay. Let me see what people are saying in the chat. All right. So loops, what they do, Mark, they will redo a command that you give them. For example, Mark, I say, let me get a good example, an easy example. For example, mm, all right, Mark, let me just use, my brain is frozen. Let me just use this example. So a loop will do this. A loop is something that is continuous, okay? It's something that will go on and on and on and on, all right? Until it gets to the end of something. Okay, Mark? For example, I can say maybe, um, do you, all right, Mark, when you're playing a song, all right, say you go to YouTube and you have a song, say, which song can I use? Give me an example of a song that you people love.
Anguka nayo.
All right. Musembi, hiyo ni nyimbo gani? So let's say we go to YouTube. All right. Let me just stop sharing the screen. We go to YouTube for the sake of Mark. Let me hide my things. You people, I know you. You people, I cannot trust you with information for YouTube. Let me look for we Mark, nikitafuta yo anguka nayo nitaharibu. You judge Elfas. You people, you judge harshly. I cannot trust you. Simbi. You people, you judge. Justin unamklapia. I know you. Kitu mtacheka. So let me just share my screen on my YouTube. Sitaki kukuwa na manyimbo zenyu kwa for you page yangu. I have built this my for you page. So let's say let me just split my screen. All right. And let's say I am going to maybe I am going to put Neil deGrasse talking.
Elon Musk says that we're living in a simulation. He's not the only person that theorizes this. Basically, we're in a video game being controlled.
Wait, so let me see. Can I get the volume? Yeah. Let me just mute this. So Mark, maybe you're watching this video, all right? And you want to listen to it over and over and over again. What you do, you right click and then you come to loop. So what loop is going to do, as this video is playing from the start to the end, what is going to do, if it comes here to the end, it's at the end, what it will do, it will restart again. So it's going to start all over again, all over again, all over again. It's called a loop sequence. Okay, Mark? So even in programming, we can also do the same. All right? We can loop a statement that we want being executed over and over and over. All right, Mark. So now in programming, a loop will do something over and over and over and over again. Okay, Mark? Have you understood up to there?
Yes.
All right. So now let's go to something like a for loop, like what we have here. All right. All right. Justin is telling us it's like running on a track event. You will go around the track for 4 times to complete 1500 meters. Justin, ulijulia wapi hiyo? That's so interesting. All right. So for you to make a complete, you've started something all the way to the end, and then you come redo it again from the start all the way to the end, from the start all the way to the end. All right. So that's what we call a loop. And we have different types of loops. We have a for loop. So the for loop, for example, like what we have here in our example, it's telling us you've been given a list of names. Okay, Mark? We've been given Wei, we've been given Nikki, we've been given Aqua. Now, the statement tells us for name, so each name right here, so we have Wei, we have Nikki, we have Aqua. So it's telling us to capitalize, all right, for name, each name in this list of names, all right, Mark? For each name in this list of names, create a new variable called new name, and this variable of new name will contain a capitalized name of each of these. So we are going to write we are going to write the for the new name, the answers will be the capital letters of these new names. All right, for these names. For example, higher mark the statement is saying for each name here. See, we have a variable of names with a list with names. All right, Mark. We have names right
Yes, yes,
here.
yes.
Yes.
So where is the loop coming in?
The
The
loop,
repeating.
the repeating is it's going to, you see, for each name that we have here, it's going to capitalize it, and then it's going to store it in a new variable called new name. So what it's going to do, it's going to come to check a name on the list, and it's going to meet way. What it's going to do, it's going to write capital for way, a capitalized name for way, and record it. And then it's going to go back and look for this. If there's another name, it's going to come and find Nikki. All right. So when it finds Nikki, it's going to capitalize the name Nikki and record Nikki as a capital. And then it's going to look if in the list of names there's another name that is not capitalized. It's going to come and see Aqua. All right. If it comes and finds Aqua, it's going to capitalize it and store it. Then it's going to look for to go back to the list and look if there's going to be another name. Is there another name? No. So the loop ends there. Okay. Okay. So a loop is going to go through number one, through way, do what it's supposed to do, and save it. And then it's going to go back, look for another name, capitalize it, and save it. And then go back, look for another name, capitalize it, and save it. I think the easiest example for a loop is just increment the number. Hii unajua tumemix hadi list so that ideal oil loops. All right. Let me see the examples that you've given me here. So Mosembe is saying a loop for iterating of a list. All right. So, all right, let me get a good example for you, Mark. And I'm going to put it on my Word document. I've not closed it. Give me a second, people. All right. So let me stop sharing this and go to my document. And I'll also have one for for loop. I'll have one for a while loop. And then you guys are going to tell me the answers. And I'm also going to have one for a do while. And then let's see if this is going to be a bit easier. Let me just share this screen. Perfect. So let me just use the example Musembi has given us. So Mark, let's say we have a statement that says for number in range of 1 to 6, print number. All right. So here we have a range of the numbers between 1 to 6. Then we are told to print the numbers that appear. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to write number from number 1. Okay. Are you guys with me? If you're with me, give me a thumbs up.
Yes,
I know.
we are together.
All right. All right. Perfect. So we're going to use the example that Musembi has given us. And we're going to print out numbers, all right? Mko na mimi, sawa. So we are going to print out the numbers, all right? And in this short statement, we are told for a number in range of between 1 to 6, all right? Print number. Now, remember guys, I told you in programming, we start from number. We start from number. Guys,
0.
yes, good. We start from number 0, all right? So we need to write a range between number 1 to number 6. So let's go with, so let's start writing the numbers. So this for loop is going to run until we have 6 numbers. Now, so it's going to tell us, we're going to write, let me see if I can get a whole code that we can run on our VS Code and write. So that it will be a bit easier. All right, so let me close the chat. Perfect. And split my screen. All right, Musembe. So here we have a for loop that wants to run from the range of 1 all the way to 6. Okay. So here we've been given, Mark, are you with me?
Yes.
All
I
right.
put my phone on finger.
All right. So now, here we've been given a range. We want to print the numbers between the range of between 1 and 6, the numbers in between. Okay. And we've been given a starting point. We start from number 1. All right. We start from number 1. We've been given a range. We want to print the numbers. This particular code is saying for number in range between 1 and 6, print the numbers. Now, because we're given a range, we want to start from number 1, where we've been given, all the way we stop before number 6. So our output will be, it's going to go and print, it's going to start from number 1. It's going to go round between number 1 and 6, and it's going to write to print out number 1. Then it's going to print out the next number that is in range will be number. Unmute, guys, you tell me. I can't see your chats. So for this code right here, we want to print the range of numbers between 1 and 6. Okay. And let me see if count will be easier than range. Let me see if count will be easier than range. All right, let's just proceed, and then we're going to kind of explain when we go to the while and do while. So guys, we have a code that wants to print for us the numbers between 1 and 6. Okay. And we've been given the starting point as number 1. So the next number that's going to be output will be number 2. All right. And it's going to check, has number 2 reached to number 6? No. So what it's going to do, it's going then to count again. It's going then to write again the next number before number 6, and it's going to write number 3. It's then going to check, the for loop is going to check, is number 3 the same as number 6? No. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the next number, which the next number is number 4. And then now the for loop is going to check, is number 4 the same as number 6? No. So what are we going to do? We're going to go to the next number. All right. We're going to go to number 5. And then it's going to check, number 5, the next number is number 6. Is number 6 the same as number 6? Yes. So our for loop is going to end here. So right here, our for loop has given us a range of numbers between number 1 and 6. And it has output for us number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we try and see what a while loop is going to do, let me just reduce the space. This while loop is telling us a number is 1, while number is less than or equals to 5, print number. Number, you add +1. So what this code is saying, number 1, do you guys see this? This means you increment with, okay, we're going to start with number 1. Let me just start from line to line. We've been given a starting point of number 1. So let's write here our number 1. We've been given a starting point of number 1. And we are told, while the number is less than or equals to 5, we print the number. Okay? But then, for each number that we have, increment with 1. This plus equals means you increment with 1. You can see programmers either using plus equals or plus plus in some. let me just have it here. Some programming languages will have it as this, and some programming languages will have it as this. Okay, so here we have been told we print the numbers that we have, and we are going to start with number 1. Okay, so we are going to print number 1, and we've been told while the number is less than 5, print the number. Is number 1 less than 5, less than or equals to 5? Yes. What do you do then? If it's yes, then add +1. So if I add 1 plus 1, I'm going to get a 2. Now, let's go back to the loop again. We've been told now we have our number 2 right here. So is number 2 less than or equals to 5? Yes. So if it's less than 5, all right, add +1. So the next number will be 2 plus 1 is 3. And then we're going to go to the next, we're going to look at number 3. Is 3 less than or equals to 5? Yes. So add 1, and we're going to print number 4. Then we're going to look at number 5. So is number 5, the next number, is number 5 less than or equals to 5? Yes. So because here we've been told less than or equals to 5, our loop is going to end at number 5. We won't go ahead with 6 because the answer right here tells us loop until you get to less than, loop until you have either a less than or an equals to 5. All right. So a while loop will do something. So while it is printing the number and while it is checking whether the number is less than 5, we've been told you can actually increment to 1 to go all the way to number 5. Now, let's try and see a do while. Now, with this here, we've been told let our number be number 1. So we've been given a starting point of number 1, all right? We're going to write it down as number 1. And then we're going to say do. Now, this is now our loop here. Print the number, console.log will print for you, will output for you on your browser in JavaScript. So print out the number and then, okay, you guys, you see, I was telling you, sometimes some programming languages will have increment as a plus plus, others will have increment as a plus equals, all right? So for JavaScript is a plus plus. So here we're being told so let your start with number 1, okay? Let your first number be number 1. We're being told print this number and then increment while your number is less than or equals to 5, okay? So what you're going to do, we know that you have a limit of 5, okay? Less than or equals to 5. So 5 is our limit. So what are we going to do? We've been told while number is less than or equals to 5, do this, increment with 1. So our number is less than 5, right? So we've been told to do this. We've been told to increment. So our next number will be 2. We go to the next number. 2 plus 1, we've been told, is 2 less than 5? Yes. So if it's less than 5 or equals to 5, increment it with 1. So what do? We get to 3. Check. Is number 3 less than or equals to 5? Yes. So because it's less than or equals to 5, do this, increment it with 1. So we are going to increment it with 1. Now, is the next number after 4 is 5, right? Is number 5 less than or equals to 5? Yes. So increment it. No, we are not going to increment because we are at a hard limit of equals to 5. Is 5 equals to 5, right? So our final number to be printed will be plus 5. But we will not increment because we are already at our number 5. So our loop will run again and again until it is at a certain point, until it has reached to the end of what it was told to do. If it was told to loop until you get to number 5, it's going to write a number and then another number up until this number is either equals to 5. And that is what a loop does. Okay? Mark, have you understood?
Yes, I have. Thank you for that.
All right. No, 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 Clinton. You cannot. Plus is for adding 1 plus 1. It's for incrementing with 1. That plus equals or plus you increment by 1. So if you wanted to increment, say, by 2, you would have something like maybe a plus and then equals 2. So this one is going to tell you to increment with 2. If you want it to increment by 5, you're going to have a plus and then equals 5. It's going to know that it needs to increment by 5. Is that okay, Clinton? Is that okay, Clinton?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Karibu. So let's go ahead. I can see our time is almost up. Let's go ahead and let me just share. I know we are almost, I'm just going to jump all the way to version control. I know we are almost. Ridge. My lord. Ridge. Musembi, tafadhali usiwahi tuombea. Mimi, my lord. All right. Well, Musembi, kindly see the level of your love in Ridge's calculator. Anyway, let me just share my prog intro. You people, you said you must show me things. It's okay. It's okay. I will see them. Justin is happy. Rich, thank you for this. You're saving someone's relationship. You say, if communication is less or equals to 0, then that is silent treatment. So, then let's read this. Let's read this code. Let love be true, patience to 100, communication to 50. Okay. If patience is 10, communication is 5, print Musembi and Sandra's relationship is running very smoothly. Okay. If communication is less than or equals to 0, print silent treatment activated, no talking. All right. If communication is at 50, print patient. If communications is at 50 and patience is at 20, print Musembi bought flowers to fix the silent treatment. All right. So here it's saying if communication is less than or equals to 0, okay, Musembi, you max the communication to 50 and max the patience to 20. Then I'm going to print Musembi bought flowers to fix it. Oh, so cute. Sandra will now stop silent treatment. If patience is at 0, print relationship is crashed. Musembi, it's time to debug your love life. Love is false. So, all right, print single mode activated, rebooting emotional system. And I'm going to add dusted. Very nice. Ati kidogo kidogo utengeneze Musembi ya model. Aya, mapenzi wewe, mapenzi wewe. Hata mimi nifanye kazi yangu. Let's now move to version control. People, how many of us here have GitHub accounts? Raise your hands. How many of us have GitHub accounts? Let's raise our hands. I see if I'm going to have an easy afternoon. Just 10 people, 11. Just 15. Half the class. Chelsea, do you have a GitHub account? Juliet, do you have a GitHub account? Juma John Paul, do you have a GitHub account? Angela, do you have a GitHub account? Silas, do you have a GitHub account? Samuel, tia Chelsea watatumia na Ridge. Ai. Hapo itakuwa ngumu kidogo. Nicodemus, do you have a GitHub account? Kindly lift up your hand so that I know. Evans, do you have a GitHub account? Amy, do you have a GitHub account? Chelsea, do you have a GitHub account? Me, that's my question. Belinda, do you have a GitHub account? The numbers are rising, 21. Okay, Chelsea. Samuel, do you have a GitHub account? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, lift up your hand. Aye, my lord. Juliet, do you have Chelsea? Keep raising your hand. Usichoke. I need to know so that I know whether I'm going to spend a lot of time on this. All right, Musembi. Daniel Musembi. No, you
Yes.
have. Nick, do you have a GitHub account?
That's not a question.
Why is your hand down?
Oh, okay.
Samuel Gitau, do you have a GitHub account? If you're writing in C++, you must have a GitHub account. Mary. Sawa, hata Bitbucket ni sawa, imagine. Hata Bitbucket it's okay if hauko kama sisi. Juma John Paul, Juliet, Mary, Samuel. Silas, do you have a GitHub account? All right. You can lower your hands. Let me then ask this. Who does not have a GitHub account? Just to lower all your hands. Lower all your hands. Fan, lower your hand. You have a GitHub account. Basil, you have a GitHub account. Befalin, you have a GitHub account. Prudence, you have a GitHub account. If you don't have a GitHub account, raise your hand. If you have, mpaka niwasaidie kuloa jameni. All right. Who does not have a GitHub account? If you do not have a GitHub account, kindly just raise your hand. I think it's going to be easier that way, so that I know where we are going. So Musembi. Mukitoka lunch muombe Musembi. Who does not have a GitHub account? Please. Let me know, please. So is it safe to say that everyone has a GitHub account? Asking once, asking twice. Who does not have a GitHub account? Asking thrice. So I will believe that everyone has a GitHub account. Okay, Prudence. Because no one has raised their hand. Sawa. So let's just go through version control, because now I've seen at least 2 people you have your GitHub accounts. Sawa. So let's just run through this, Basi, if you guys have. So what is version control and collaboration? So version control is a system. A version control system is a software that tracks versions of your code and documents them as you update your code. Version control can be done locally on your machine or by a website that is dedicated to saving these versions. Collaboration is doing version control, but in the cloud or in a dedicated website that multiple people can work on a project. For example, an example of version control. Guys, give me the types of version control softwares that you guys use. Okay, we have GitHub. Another one. Right, we have Git. We have Git, and then someone was saying Bitbucket somewhere. So what are the advantages of version control? Number one, easy access to projects, project changes, error tracking, and security. You can Mercurial, yes. Well, it's a software where we go and deposit our Git code, our Git. It's a repository. Git is the software, right? So advantages of version control is that you can track errors. All right. It's okay. It's okay. It's really okay. It's okay. No problem. So advantages of version control is that you can track errors, you can get access to your project changes, get to know what changed in what changed in what, and security. And utilizing cloud infrastructure. So the cloud or a dedicated website is useful for storing changes in the code. Version control that is on a local computer can easily be lost, even if it's more secure than saving multiple versions of a file. Data that is stored in a cloud has reduced risk of being lost. For example, if you're going to use Git and you're storing your code, your repos are in GitHub, it's much easier and much safer for your code in GitHub than in your local machine. Why? If, for example, your local machine crashes and you lose all your data, your code and even all the versions of your code are lost. So you can opt for either the cloud or for something like GitHub or Bitbucket where you can store your code. Now, we have different version control tools. For example, we have Git and GitHub, we have GNU-Arch, we have Mercurial, and more tools exist. Baza hiyo ni gani? Nanikumbusha baza ile ya magari. All right, so you can install Git tools. So for those who are using Git Bash, see, you know, Git Bash is also a tool of Git, so you can install a few tools for the Git tools. You can create a repository. You can edit your code in your Git repositories. You can clone existing repositories. You can create and merge branches. All right. You can resolve merge conflicts. So you guys, when you have a merge conflict, what do you do? Yes, you can fork repos. You can even star repos. You can go and steal code because you can git clone. Exactly, you can git clone. So there are many things that you can do with Git, and the best way to learn Git is to experience it. So if you're into a bit of fun, you can go to Introduction to Programming, page 61 and 62. and you can try these things out. You can install Git tools, and you can open your Git bash. You can create your repos. You can do everything you'd want to do. You can follow this. You can follow these instructions on page 61 and 62. I know most of you. I know most of you guys have. Musembi, what does this do? This sounds interesting. So you can go on page 61 and 62. I know you guys because you have your Git accounts, and you have them and you use them. Very nice. Okay. You can try some stuff out, especially for those with Git bash. Yeah, up to page 63, and see if you're going to learn something new. And GitHub is a repository hosting service. So remember, like last time when I showed you how to create your GitHub accounts, create a repository. In your repository, you had a few files, you had a few codes there stored, right? So GitHub is where you're storing your Git code, right? And someone asked the difference between Git and GitHub, and they were given a very bad explanation of it, but I'll tell you, GitHub is where you store your repos of your codes. All right, so on the checkpoint questions, let me ask you, what's one of the key purposes of programming? That we learned very early in the morning at 9 a.m. At 9 a.m., we learned one purpose of programming, and it was hire people. Yes, Salem, automation. Ay, makofi kwa Salem. Clap for Salem. Good Elfas, yes. We learned, clap for Elfas and Salem. That is for Salem. And that is for Elfas. All right. Which types of tools are used to store programming source code? Which type of files, sorry, are used to store programming source code? Remember when we were saying about Sublime Text, and we said you can store your source code in what? We said you've forgotten what you learned 3 hours ago. We said you can store your files, you can store your code in text files. All right. And remember, I was giving you an example of Sublime Text. Even some people use Notepad and Notepad plus plus up to date. Yes, as a text file. What is an IDE? Just unmute, give me answers, Agideri. What is an IDE? People today don't want to go for lunch. So,
Environment.
yes? Yes, integrated.
Development environment.
Yes, perfect. What is an example of an IDE? Guys, what is an example of an IDE? I gave you a few. Yes, we have VS Code. Perfect. What data type is whole numbers? Thank you. Perfect. What data type is for whole numbers? Good. What data type is for numbers with decimal points? Good, Musembi. Good, Elfas. Good people. Very nice. What data type is for content with quotation marks? A string. Perfect. What is the purpose of functions in programming? Where Musembi? Musembi. What is the purpose of functions? Usembi, wewe usituombee. Wewe tumeona hata akili yako sio safi, kwa hivyo hata hii maombi imetuchanganya leo, usituombee. Purpose of functions. Yes, they're used to call code to do a certain thing. All right? To call functions. Name one popular version of control or one popular version control tool. And we said we have Git, right? Awesome. So congratulations, guys. Today you sat through a whole document of 67 pages. I am super happy for you. Well, it's okay, Rich. It's okay. Now, before we go, I want to do a short introduction for you guys on. Let me just close this. I want to do a very short introduction for you on Cloud9. So as long as you guys you've used IDEs, you'll get easily accustomed to Cloud9, all right? So let's learn a little bit about Cloud9. And Cloud9 is an example of an IDE where you can write, run, and debug your code within the browser. All right, you do not need to install anything. So with AWS Cloud9, you have immediate access to a code editor, an integrated debugger, and a built-in terminal with pre-configured AWS CLI. All right. AWS Cloud9, Amazon EC2 environments come prepackaged with tooling of more than 40 programming languages. So the best thing about having Cloud9 is that you can use a lot of you can write your code in different programming languages without having say to install dependencies. For example, like people who use JavaScript and you have to have like 178 dependencies, right? You can it has it comes with debuggers, it comes with AWS CLI, it comes with a code editor, and you can do all this on your Cloud9. Makosa kidogo hivi kwa npm, you can cry until Jehovah Wanyonyi akuhurumie. Now, AWS Cloud9 environments can be hosted on EC2 instances or even on your own servers. Yes, Linux. We love Linux. Using AWS Cloud9 installer for Linux, and you can connect AWS Cloud9 and you can connect AWS Cloud9 environments to source control management such as AWS version control management services like code commit. So guys, you see the way in real life we have GitHub, okay? You see the way we have GitHub. In AWS, we have a service called code commit. So for those who are going to progress all the way to DevOps professional, you're going to learn deep dive of code commit. It works the same way as your GitHub, okay? You can create AWS Cloud9 environment directly on the console by using CLI. In this case, AWS and Cloud9 environment and the EC2 instances are automatically integrated for you for the lab that you're going to do. So guys, there's this lab that I'd love you to take a look at. Let me stop sharing this one. And I share, this is lab, this is the lab for Hello World. This is the lab for Hello World. It's lab 108. let me just share this window. So I hope you guys can see my screen. So this lab here, these labs right here, you can do them on your Cloud9, but you're going to follow instructions. So I had opened lab 108 and it's right here. Now, today you're going to learn about how to access AWS Cloud9 IDE, all right? And because you guys have written several codes a few times, it's going to be easier for you. So once you start your lab, maybe we can, I don't know if we'll get enough time. Maybe we can go through this after your lunch. Make sure that you give it a check and also come ready. We can just go over it quickly. You can go over it quickly so that you get to see how Cloud9 is. So what you're going to do, you're going to get an introduction to Cloud9, get to understand how to, maybe you can write your code, check the environment right there, maybe have a Python code running, and create a file. For example, you're going to create a .py file right here. We're going to write something small like print hello world and run a few commands to see if we have maybe whatever version of Python that we have. And we're going to print hello world, and then we're going to save and run, and it will be the end of our lab. So at exactly 2 p.m., all right? At exactly 2 p.m., kindly be here. I will spend at most 10 minutes on Cloud9, and then from there we'll go to debugging, and then we'll go to DevOps. Okay? Are you guys okay with that? Ama we do the lab here before you go for lunch? Which one would you prefer? We do it here right now or in the afternoon? Yes is for now. All right. Anyone else? Aha, unatetea Chelsea na labda Chelsea ako na nguvu kukushinda. In the afternoon, two people, one person for now. Afternoon. So the afternoon have it. So guys, come with your lab 108 open. I'm just going to do a quick overview of it. Remember, most of these things you're going to do them tomorrow, all right? So let's meet here at exactly 2 p.m. I'm not going to wait for anyone, okay? And before you leave, allow me to, for the next 5 minutes, allow me to take your attendance. If you hear your name, you shout. Karibu, I say you shout amen. No, you shout you shout present. You're going to do it in the afternoon. Right, give me a second. I open the attendance sheet here. If you hear your name, you shout. You shout, or you say present. All right, so today is 6th of November. All right. Angela, wait, just a second. Just a second. All right, I can see all of you now. All right, Angela. Angela, are you with me? Anthony. All right, just say present because I might not see the chat. Basil, I saw you. Befalin. Befalin. Who is that unmuted? Is Befalin in? Belinda, I've seen you. Benson, umenichekesha leo. Brian Kipkirui. Is Brian in? Brian Kipkirui. Brian Murali. All right. Chelsea. Chelsea umeongea leo. Clinton, I've seen you. Daniel Musembi, umetuombea. Alphas, how are you? Evans, I've seen you. Felix, is Felix in class?
Yes, Jay.
Okay, Felix, that's Felix. All right. Frank, fine. Ivy, are you in class? All right. Ivy, were you there yesterday? Were you present yesterday, Ivy? Ivy, were you present yesterday? You were in the afternoon. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see you in the morning. All right. Is Kevin in? Kevin? Not so sure if I saw Kevin. Has anyone seen Kevin today? You filled the form for morning. Okay, Ivy, no problem. No problem. Priscilla, are you in? Prudence, are you in? Roy, are you in? Roy? Nicodemus? Is Nicodemus in?
Yes, Jay.
Oh, Nicodemus, you stop keeping quiet. Now see you ngine akiwa absent juu haujaongea the whole day. Nicodemus. Na sikunangi kwa group. Priscilla? Priscilla, are you in? Prudence? Sharon? Sharon? You know, Sharon, you're my good friend, but you're so quiet in class. Sharon? Tony? Tony, are you in? Juliet, are you in? All right. So, all right. All right, Samuel. Amy, me, I'm not seeing you. Are you sure you're present? All right, guys. Without
Present.
it's okay. It's okay.